Rise, grind, shine, peace and blessings. It's a new day, and you're now listening to Curtis Rice at Born Royal 86. I don't know if you still watch the news or not, but I don't know if it's just me or the news is not as reliable as they once were, or were they ever really reliable? I'm not sure, but either way, the weather has been completely off lately. 1 minute they'll say it's gonna be a bright sunny day and it's a tornado. Then they'll say it's gonna rain and it's a hurricane. So I don't know what to believe no more, because they ain't been getting it right for a while now. So I'd be better off asking somebody online before I believe the news, because they ain't been on point lately. I don't know what's going on. Then on top of that, the news that they sharing is not as exclusive as my timeline. And that's the craziest part about it. They used to have some news. It used to be you hear it first. Now is what I heard. When the news started talking about what celebrities doing before what's going on down the street, they ain't got nothing to talk about. Growing up, I used to watch a lot of Sci-Fi channel fiction, or is it fiction? Who knows? Because a lot of things that I was growing up watching that was supposed to be fiction and make-believe or whatever the case is, a lot of these stories are coming around full circle right now. So I'm not sure if what I was watching was based on a true story or was it supposed to be fiction, because now none of it is making sense. I was watching X-Files coming up. That was one of my favorite shows. X-Files, anything alien related, I'm there. I'm watching it. Growing up, I always heard, Kurt, don't believe everything you see. It's not real. It's not real. All right. So now I look up, everything on the news is looking like an episode of X-Files. I don't know what's next. I don't know if Walking Dead is make-believe, fiction, or if it's based on a true story. But whatever it is, let somebody know. You got to be more accurate with this news, because that's not the type of surprise I want to stumble into. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to go to the mall one day. Not the mall. I'm not trying to be surprised going to the grocery store one day and I'm thinking it's a Walking Dead audition and the shit is actually real. A lot of things are changing, and it's not up to me to have these same conversations over and over with people that just don't want to hear it. There's so much to learn from different people. I can learn from the people who have it, and I can learn from the people who are not currently in a position. But that doesn't mean that I look down on the next person and their information is void. Meanwhile, you might listen to a person they might be up, but they might be in a position where they might be unhappy, but they have all these possessions that you aspire to have. Therefore, your ears are turned off. You just dead set on what you see, because these are all the material things that you glued to. I'm noticing that it's a different time. A lot of people are showing their true colors. Whether you believe it or not, whether you like it or not, if you don't see it for what it is, it's on you. At some point, you got to accept that everybody doesn't want to advance. Everybody doesn't want to change. Everybody doesn't want to hear the truth. And that's where you start from, and that's what you build on, and that's what you work with. Waking up perfect is not the everyday routine. I get up early some mornings. Some mornings I don't. I don't feel like working out some days. I work out anyway. And shout out to Ferocious. I sent him a message a while back, and he told me he was going to Pinnacle Mountain. And it dawned on me that I've always been in the area. I've always been around, and I've been driving past it for years. But I didn't realize that I never climbed Pinnacle Mountain. So this particular day, I sent him a message, and he was like, meet me at Pinnacle Mountain tomorrow. Now, at that point in time, I could have came up with any type of excuse possible. Man, I don't have the shoes. Man, I don't have this. Man, I don't have this. Man, I don't. And it's like, you know what? And true enough, the shoes that I had, I'm glad I didn't wear those, because I would have tumbled down that mountain this particular day. When you climbing a mountain, don't wear no flat shoes. I started to wear some Air Max. You know, the Air Max got the bubbles on the bottom. Not only would I have popped those bubbles, but I would have probably went viral that day falling down that damn mountain. But I'm glad I didn't wear those. Now, although I did fall, it wasn't that type of fall. It was one of them slides where I caught myself. It was a real moment, but it wasn't like as dramatic as a person who wasn't there would make it. Everything was pointing towards, you know what? You said you was going to do it. Now it's the time to do it. No excuses. So I showed up. It felt great though. Now when you getting ready to do something, whether it's climb a mountain, I'm going skydiving one day too. Yeah, that's my next thing. Maybe not next as in what I'm doing immediately, but skydiving is definitely next. When you have a conversation or you might share that information with somebody like, oh, I'm getting ready to climb a mountain, first thing they think is, are you crazy? Like, why would you do that? I like to run outside because it's not like when you're running outside, you don't have the comfort of that treadmill where you can just step over to the side in that air condition. You got to run the distance and you got to run back or walk back, whatever your choice is. But either way, it's outside. It's an uncontrolled environment that you have to go the distance for. With a mountain, it's different. You climb the mountain, everything ain't the same. The rocks are moving underneath your feet and it's real. It's not one of those things where you can stage or you can predict what's going to happen next. You might see some, and I can't stand snakes, but you might see snakes. You might see, who knows what you might see. But either way, those are the types of things that stop people from climbing that mountain. All the things that they cannot stand, all the things that they don't like, all the things they strongly dislike is what keeps them from taking that next step. But what I noticed is I wouldn't even let the heat stop me this day. And it's been extremely hot. I'm talking about it's been 100 and whatever. That's how hot it's been. This new AI sun or whatever this is that's going on. Like I went downstairs to go get something out of the car and I almost forgot how to get back home. And that's how I knew it was too hot. So whatever's going on, stay hydrated. Make sure you drink water, actual water, real water. Well, I'm on my way driving to the mountain, getting ready to park, meet up with Ferocious. Little do I know, I'm on the wrong side. Met him on the other side, linked up. He was ready to go. He had the weight vest on. I left my weight vest. I'm bringing my weight vest next time, but I'm glad I didn't. That's one thing about it. When you working out, don't let your ego get in the way when you working out. You will end up paying for it later. Little did I know, this mountain did something that I didn't expect. My adrenaline was rushing. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. We heading up this trail. I'm just talking and talking and talking. And Ferocious is quiet. I know I'm talking too much because my main thing is staying focused and paying attention on each step, taking it a step at a time. And I realized why Ferocious was quiet. I need to shut up because I really need to catch my breath. It was time for me to really be quiet and focus on what was going on because it was getting real fast. I'm on the right track. All the while I'm feeling great because it's a win. It's a win for me because it's one thing to say you're going to do something, but to actually do it means a whole lot more. But also to be around people who are doers instead of talkers means more than anything else. Make it to the top of the mountain, and it was a real moment. It was one of the moments where I'm glad I ain't talked myself out of it. I've been passing this mountain for so long, and when I got to the top of this mountain, it was one of them feelings where it was like, man, you can't keep putting things off because you don't have forever to do things like this. You're not always going to be as young as you are right now in this moment. Letting things pass by, letting moments pass by, letting opportunities pass by, and having that, I got plenty of time. Headed to the top of that mountain, it just reminded me like, man, it's a lot of things that we put off until later. Then when later comes, something else happens. And then something else happens. It never stops. Like you really have to make time to do the things that are important. And health comes before anything else. It was a fulfilling moment reaching the top of that mountain. Not letting other people's fears stop me from deciding to go to the top of this mountain. This definitely won't be the last time. So I'm feeling refreshed. I'm like, all right, cool. This is the move. This is it. I'm definitely coming back to do this. A few hours later, my body just shut down. I'm talking about just pain everywhere. It's one thing where you have leg day and you can feel it building up. And then that next day, the next morning when you wake up, you feel it. It all kicks in. This was the exact opposite. And it was one of the greatest feelings that I've experienced. This is the craziest part. He said, yeah, we're going to go up the other side next time. I'm like, the other side? I didn't even know it was different sides to go up to the mountain. So to be continued. I noticed that when you decide to make a change for yourself, at first, certain people around you don't get it. Then when they realize how serious you are, they try to test you. to see if you really changed, to see if you really own what you say you own. If you're working on peace and working on your attitude, they'll try to bring up something old to see if it's going to trigger you. In other words, putting all your temptations in front of you to see if you are as disciplined as you say, or if you're really working on that. It's the starting point, just starting. I hear people talk themselves out of their own journey because they're afraid to start. It can be anything. I want to work out, but it's been so long. Just go take a walk. Just start there. It's not going to be perfect. Nobody said you got to go outside and just take off running as fast as you can. Just walk. Take your time. Pace yourself. You don't have to go out here and be a track star. There is no perfect blueprint. But the moment a person hears a shortcut, that's it right there. People stop so quick for shortcuts because they don't want to go through the process. The moment you get distracted and you try to run your race using my process and it doesn't work for you and it works for me, that's on you. That's not on me because I'm running my race. Nobody told you to come over here and do what I'm doing. I'm not focused on what you're doing, and I'm not looking at what your process is to copy your process. And hearing all this information like, oh, you're supposed to take from this and that. All right, cool. You do that. But then when you realize it don't work, you got to go back to square one and understand I got to do what's best for me. What I'm doing might not be best for you. Me working out X amount of days a week might not be best for you. You might have one day that you can dedicate to working out. Stick to your one day until you can add another day to make 2 days. But you trying to go from no days a week to 6 days a week, stay in your lane. Just because I went up the mountain one time, that don't mean I'm out here doing parkour. You will not see me doing no damn Jason Statham stunts just because I went up the mountain one time. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of right now. People see something work for a person and they like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Everything ain't for everybody. If you into what you into, do that. And do it well. But the moment you get distracted from your path and you look over there and you see what the next person doing and it seem to be working fast for them, and you get distracted and you lean towards that and start doing what they doing, joke's on you, because you never know how long that person been doing what they've been doing. They might make it look easy because they've been doing it for a long time. So when you do it and you're not able to maintain that consistency in the way that they make it look easy, then you get frustrated. Then you get mad. Then you get jealous. Then you get bitter. And you don't understand why are they so successful. They just doing this. There's more to it than you actually see. So never underestimate a person's hard work. Never underestimate the time and effort that people put into their craft, because to you it might look easy. To you, oh, they just rapping. To you, oh, they just playing sports. To you, oh, they just doing t-shirts. Or they doing, try to do some of this stuff yourself. When you see how challenging some of these crafts are, then you'll know what's going on. Respect, shout out to the engineers, to the DJs, fashion designers, to the athletes, to the artists, to the producers, to the photographers, to the videographers, to the directors, to the candle makers, whatever it is that you're doing. Because for anyone to downplay what you're doing as if, oh, it's just this, is disrespectful. They do not know what it takes. And for the people who are afraid to start anything and had a nerve to say your little business or are you still doing your little this or your little that, you know what? Don't even take it personal. And this is coming from a person who's been taking it personal for a long time. At this point, it ain't that they don't know no better. They don't even want to do better. That's just their mentality at this point. And it's going to stay that way until they decide to do something. Shout out to the people who pushing forward, no matter what. I'm going to always put that spotlight on the people who push forward because it's not easy. Some days you just don't want to do it. And you keep going and you do it anyway. That's how it gets done. You got to keep going. Every video online is saying all you got to do is, listen, when a person say all you got to do is get ready for a journey. When people say all you got to do is, they don't tell you they know somebody. They don't tell you they got the hookup. They don't tell you they got the discount. But when you do it, you paying full price. You don't know nobody. What they said wasn't as valid as they said when they said it. And you got to get hit with everything at one time. You get hit with the storm. I ain't been drinking. I stopped drinking like, damn, it's been It's been about a year and some change, almost 2 years. Yeah, it's not for me. In my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I might do some celebratory drinking. When I reach some milestones, I might get some champagne or something like that. But as of now, no, I'm straight on that. And as far as like edibles, nah, I'm good on that, G. It's certain things that you just don't need to do. When you hard-headed, it's certain things you don't need to do. And edibles is one of them. And I'm not good with measurements. But when they say take a third or a half, not a half, and it's like, come on now, it's a cookie. I'm gonna eat this whole cookie. I'm gonna eat this whole brownie. What you talking about? I should have listened. I messed up. I had a whole cookie. And well, first it was like these peach rings. Yeah, that was a mistake. I had a whole one instead of a half. And it got pretty bad. This one particular time was my last time. I don't see how artists do this and go in the studio and knock out 82 songs. I had an edible. I couldn't even remember my name. I couldn't spell my own name. I didn't even remember none of my own lyrics. I could barely form a sentence. I was speaking English, but for some reason I thought I was speaking a foreign language. I was laying down. I prayed. I said, God, please help me get through this. I vividly remember saying that. And for some reason, I was listening to some song by Doja Cat in the weekend, and it seemed like the greatest song I ever heard. Yeah, edibles? Nah, not for me at all. That ain't my thing. When you hard-headed and you stubborn and you just flat out don't listen, you don't need to partake in any type of substance, because you got to know when to stop. And when you mix it with something good like cookies or brownies or cakes, that's just not okay. That's a foul. That's flagrant. Because who am I to let food go to waste? It never made sense to me. I was raised not to waste my food. I'm looking forward to what's next, though. The direction I'm going in, it definitely requires me to do some things that I'm not used to, and I'm okay with that. If it seems I'm more distant, that's because it's on purpose. That's because I need to. Can't take life for granted. There's some things coming up that I have to focus on more than anything else. And it's not about rushing and throwing out content, just throwing it out to be throwing it out, but sharing these experiences and recognizing that, and I'm done with doing that busy work. Just be doing things just to say, man, I had a busy day. Because you can have a busy day and not have a productive day. Did it change anything? I'm asking myself the hard questions that I may have been avoiding for a long time. I pray. Sometimes my language is colorful. Sometimes it's not. Whether you get up at 5 o'clock or whether you get up at 9 o'clock, just make it the best day you can make it. Just live the best day that you can possibly live. Just be the best version of you. Encouraging my kids that it's more to life than what's currently in front of them. Breaking cycles is not easy. And I decided that I'm doing whatever I got to do to make it happen. I'm not worried about nobody else's fears, negative comments. None of that matters. If you scared, you scared. You know where to go.